Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I'm reviewing Cthulhu Saves Christmas for the PS5. I'm going to go over the same 5 categories I always do: graphics, performance, gameplay/story, replayability, fun factor. Give each category a score from 1 to 10, average it up, and then talk about the game a little bit. So this is a RPG, um, maybe a little strategy, but just pretty much an RPG. Simple, turn-based RPG, older type, more like an old school Final Fantasy or something like that. But we'll start with graphics. Graphics, you can see it's like pixel art, but I think they're really good. I think the effects are cool, character models are cool. I like the environments, the effects on screen. When you can see something, when there's some depth on screen, looks really neat. So I give graphics an 8. I think they're pretty good, especially for this type of game. Um, yeah, like the character designs you can see here, they look really good. Performance, I am going to give a 9. The only reason I knocked it down 1 point is because I did have one, I don't want to say freeze, but I got to a part where just nothing would happen on screen, so I had to shut down the game, and just like go from an old save point, so it was kind of frustrating because this is an old school game. I don't think there's autosave, so you have to save often, and that was super irritating. But I'm just going to dock it 1 point because it happened once. It's only. And one thing while I'm talking about performance, this game said it was like 4 or 5 hours. I wanted to beat this game before the year was over. Today is the 31st, and it is, let me see, from 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Um, so I beat this just in time to beat, this is my 28th game I beat in 23. So anyway, this game took a lot longer than I anticipated. I was expecting it to take 4 hours, and it took around 9. But anyway, in the 9 hours, I had one, like, I guess, I don't want to say it crashed, but I had to manually shut the game off. So anyway, performance 9. Little side tangent there. But next category is going to be gameplay/story. Gameplay loop is turn-based. You can see the side. You can see what character's coming up. So you kind of have to anticipate getting attacked, and like buffering your character so they can attack harder. There's different weaknesses every character has, so you kind of learn the system, and it's pretty complex for a smaller RPG. Um, but some of the stuff I never truly understood, and even with the little tutorials in the menu, I didn't quite understand. I did beat the game on Insane, which is I think more like the normal-ish hard difficulty, not the hardest, not the easiest. So I guess about the normal difficulty, and it got really tough. And the gameplay was really cool. I really like the system that's in place. Like there's one Child of Light kind of maybe, but it pauses. It's that kind of system. Or if you've played my game, Banished Serve, it's just like that. And there's some weaknesses that I'll get to. Let's go and talk about them now. So a little later on, there's no spoilers in this, but a little later on, you run into the issue where like the enemies are just too strong. They have like too much health, and I was really tempted to bump down the difficulty. But the only saving grace the game has, it has random battles, just like a Pokemon game, or a Final Fantasy game. Every so many steps, there's a little meter, it fills up, and then you run into a random encounter. You can see the on the bottom right. When that fills up, you're going to run into a fight. And at a certain point, it cuts it off. So it won't let you over level. You can't just go farm a bunch of XP. And that's also a saving grace because just the random battles are insane. They take a long time. That's why the game took me so long. It's not that it was super hard. There were hard parts, but most of the game was just having fight, fight, fight. I mean, it kind of got monotonous, so that's going to hurt this category a little bit. Um, it got a little stale. At first, it was cool, then it got a little stale. The story is really funny though. I combine gameplay and story, so the story part of this, I love the story. I like how it breaks the fourth wall. It it talks about buying the game cheap in a bundle. Talk about NPCs. It's just really neat and funny. It's super different, and I like that about this game. So gameplay/story, I'm going to give a 7. respectable. You know, it's good. I don't regret playing it. It was fun, and it's Christmas, so it's good. It's definitely a Christmas game. Obviously, Cthulhu Saves Christmas. And it had a cool ending, interesting ending. But there's definitely a sequel. I'll just say that. So 7 for that category. Replayability is going to take a huge hit. I platinumed this one playthrough. It does have New Game Plus, but I'm gonna change it real quick. So I'm gonna give it 2.5. That was tough. Just because I platinumed it, it should have had beat the game under New Game Plus or beat it under the harder difficulty, which would have been a nightmare probably. But at least it would have you play the game twice. It says online the game's about a 5-hour game. In my experience, it's almost double that. And I like to explore, so I did walk around quite a bit, but it is not a 6-hour game. It's much longer than that. And the last category, so replayability 2.5. And that's just because it does have a New Game Plus mode. Honestly, that's where it gets its higher score, or else I had one written down, because there is almost, I don't think there's any maybe there's one missable trophy, but you probably won't miss it. Just put it that way. So fun factor, I had a lot of fun with this game. It made me laugh. I enjoy the old school aspect of the game. I like turn-based, and I like how you can see who's going to attack you next, so you can kind of prepare. It's good turn-based, and it's just got a good layout. I like the menus. I like the way the game's laid out, and I enjoyed my time with it, so I give it a 7. So just to recap, I gave game, and I'm going to average them up right now as I'm talking about this. Graphics, I gave an 8. Performance, a 9. Gameplay/story, a 7. Replayability, a 2.5, and fun factor, a 7, and that averages out to a 6.7 out of 10. So it's not a bad game. This is the first physical, well, of course, limited run releases. This is their first PS5 release physically. I kept it sealed. I don't usually do that with a ton of games, but I figured this would be worth something someday. It's definitely, I think it's a good choice to put on physical disc, and I bought this physically for like $9, not $10, so it's definitely worth $10. It's pretty easy platinum if you're a trophy hunter, so that's a big plus that it has a platinum. I'm really glad that they did that. So anyway, I really don't have a ton to say about this game, other than don't let the time to beat deceive you like it did me. I was looking for something really short to beat in 2 sittings, so that I could get the last game in before 24, which is kind of dumb. It doesn't really matter. It could have been the first game at 25 or 4. Had to cut. There was a major spoiler I had on screen. But that's really all I have to say about this game. I think it's worth the money, and if you're into games like this, check it out. SirVern out.